Coronavirus cases in the U.S. are rising once again after months of decline. It's being driven by the fast-spreading Delta variant, lagging vaccinations, and summer gatherings, people getting together. Right now, 48% of the country is fully vaccinated, which has been proven to mean protected against severe illness and hospitalization from the virus.
Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Shaq Brewster. He's in Kansas City, Kansas. So, Shaq, we know right next door in Missouri, they've been dealing with a COVID surge in overwhelmed hospitals. What's happening, though, just across the state line there in Kansas?
Well, we spent a lot of time in Missouri on the other side of the border, as you mentioned, just last week. And you heard about what doctors were saying, the surge that they're seeing and the impact that is having. And we're now seeing that impact potentially happen on other states. Here in Kansas, the vaccination rate is actually a little bit lower than what we saw in Missouri. And when you look at it in a county level, you see it goes even lower. We have some graphics up here we can show you showing that only about 35% of the population is fully vaccinated here. That's just a hair lower than what you saw across the border in Missouri. That has doctors here alarmed. We spoke to one was on MSNBC just yesterday. Listen to what he told our Casey Hunt.
We have taken some transfers from those hard-hit areas of Missouri, like Springfield, Missouri as well. But overall, the numbers in our hospitals over the past week to 10 days have been increasing with those acute infections. And I should add, the majority, 75 to 80% of those people that are coming to the hospital are unvaccinated.
And when you look at those fully vaccinated numbers, while in Missouri about 39.5% of the people are fully vaccinated, here in Kansas, that number is about 32%. Guys?
So, Shaq, we're seeing a lot of vaccine hesitancy. What are doctors saying about that? And what are they saying to patients who don't want the vaccine?
Essentially, get your vaccine as soon as possible. It is your only source of protection, especially with this Delta variant that continues to surge, especially in this area. And you look at cases, they're rising exponentially, especially in a place like Kansas. Listen to what the doctor said about that.
I have patients in my infectious disease clinic who have declined to get the vaccine. They still believe that the infection itself is not bad, or that it is nothing more than a flu-type illness, or that it's a government hoax. There is that continued concern that with vaccination, we are being subject to experiments, and we are like guinea pigs.
Now, despite that hesitation, officials are doing what they can to get those vaccines to as many people as they can. You're starting to see, and you're continuing to see, I should say, those incentives, and still starting to see some new incentives. For example, we'll be traveling to a vaccination site, one of the largest here in this county, where they're now introducing a spin the wheel kind of thing, where you go in, you spin the wheel, and you can get a prize. You can win a prize instantly for getting that vaccination. You get the sense officials are doing whatever they can to get as many vaccinations as they can as soon as possible.
Unclear if those incentives work, but I guess they're going to try whatever they can. Shaq, I know the situation has gotten so bad in some areas. Chicago is now advising that unvaccinated travelers from Missouri and also from Arkansas get a COVID test before coming to the city. Tell us more about what Chicago is saying.
Yeah, this is a travel order that has been in place for several months now, since it dates back to last year. And it was at the peak of the pandemic. Chicago was limiting who can come into the city, or at least saying if you come from these certain states, you need to quarantine or get a negative COVID test. Well, for the past couple of weeks and months, there have been no states on that list. Anyone could travel to Chicago without any quarantine, but that travel order still remained in effect. Well, now with the rising cases in Missouri and the rising cases that you're seeing in this area, you're seeing that travel order come back. Missouri now on the list requiring that quarantine or that mandatory test before you arrive back in the city.
Curious to see if other places follow suit, restrict travel or put in restrictions for states that are hotspots. All right, Shaq, thanks so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.